This industry is ripe for partnerships. There's so much integration through the different value chain of the natural gas industry, from the wellhead to the midstream operation to the transmission and storage to the distribution, and then also to the public messaging. We all have a role and stake in that, and we can complement each other.
There's a lot of value in involving others in helping promote our product. We have a great product, a low price, and we're kind of tasked to responsibly use it. And I think if we look at it in the sense of how we define those partners, whether it's our internal employees, our customers, our communities, other businesses, I think we have a great opportunity to have a great position in solving our country's energy problem, frankly, going forward. I think you have to sit and assess what your skills are, and you don't penalize for acknowledging that you need assistance and that you may not possess the talents you need to do it going forward, and you recognize other performers out there that are recognized for what they do. And quite frankly, one of the other benefits of a partnership is to work with somebody and you get some understanding of how they do it, and you get some benefit back to your organization, and hopefully they learn something from you that makes their organization better too. So you got to look at it as an opportunity, not as a shortcoming, if you will, when you go to look for a partner.
So many instances where a distribution company, for instance, wants to diversify their supply portfolio, and they want to access different supplies around the country. So partnering up with the producers that can offer that supply diversity and flanging it up with the midstream operators that can gather it and process it, working through a transportation contract, all those things are great opportunities for partnerships. The successful ones are the ones where you have common goals, you're open and honest, and you don't shy away from those uncomfortable conversations that happen with every partnership. And having that, that mentality that we've got to be open and honest if we're going to be successful. Because if either party or parties feel like there's a hidden agenda, there's less likelihood for success.
In the industry as a whole, obviously natural gas vehicles are a very popular subject. And what you will see is, to execute on those, you need a partnership with somebody. We all know how to manage systems, sell gas, procure gas, but you still need the assistance from the regulators. You still need assistance from state agencies, federal agencies. You need it from the other, business to business. Some people, you got to know who knows how to construct facilities, how to maintain them. You can learn that, but I think, to me, that's kind of at our business. What we're doing is looking at who are those partners that can help us all be successful together and executing against an NGV strategy. What you look for is who can complement your strengths. You have strengths and weaknesses, and part of that, getting into a partnership, is to understand that you can either develop yourself or somebody's already got it. And once you come and to that understanding, that you need to set and contact those people who can help support, and it becomes a mutually supportable solution. And you not only are trying to, you share a common goal, but you're looking to leverage each party's competencies, and also both parties should have some kind of value that comes out of that to be very successful together. And that's, to me, that's very critical to having a successful partnership with an individual, business, or whatever it may be.
Leveraging the strengths of different organizations, and we've talked about it before today in our executive council session, recognizing what you're not good at. And when you look for a partner, you're looking for them bringing that kind of strength. Where you aren't as strong, look for somebody that does have those strengths. And then in turn, they're going to be looking for somebody with the strengths your organization has that they don't have. So thinking about that in a deliberate way is a good start as well.
But you can't talk about it enough. And I think part of what you have to do is be very transparent in what your objectives are and communicate that down through your organizations so they understand what you're trying to accomplish. And if everybody's on the same page, then it becomes very simple, or not very simple, but it becomes easier to execute on those things. And I think that's the key to forming great partnerships: transparency, understanding of roles and responsibilities, and how you're going to define success and then measure your performance back against that.
Is it safe to share ideas? If I come up with something, is somebody going to listen to me? They're going to laugh at me? What's going to be the reaction? And I think that company needs to promote ideas and give people the feeling that it's safe to share ideas and talk about things. You heard earlier about it doesn't have to be the next big thing. It can be little thing, just so long as you're continuously trying to think about how can I be better tomorrow than I was today, whether it's through process, whether it's through individual performance, or whether it's through big company initiatives. So everybody chipping in the ways they can is important to the organization. We got to realize an organization's made up of a lot of individuals, and they all are incented in different ways. They all have different passions, and I think a good leader's role is to find out what is the drivers to make people excel. And if you're good at that, you stand a real good chance of being successful.
I think when a lot of people think about innovation, they think it's something about new products or a new service line, and it has to be big or grandiose in nature. But really, innovation is something that I think it's part of the company culture, what you develop. And it's encouraging employees throughout the organization to question why we're doing something. At CPS, it's one of our intrusiveness is one of our core behavioral principles, but it goes beyond just intrusive management. But it's a questioning attitude, ability to challenge, but do so respectively. But you think about, why are we doing it that way? Isn't this a better way to do it? And I think it's by having that dynamic that for a lot of us, it can be very small incremental change to how we configure a crew, how work is done on a particular job or a process. And it's really those day-to-day innovations that when you add them all up over a period of a year, you have some measurable change. And it develops year after year, and we call it continuous improvement. But I think that really delineates many of our companies on whether or not we're really truly successful or not. Are we changing year after year? Are we challenging the status quo? We're not satisfied with where we're at. All of our organizations, many of us might think, well, we're doing relatively good, but there's a lot of opportunities, a target-rich environment to go after. And you go back to Jim Collins, good to great. You know, what really determines a good organization from a great one? And it's that ability to continuously evolve, continuously change, challenging the status quo or raising the bar. You can use any of those cliches per se. But the bottom line is, do you have an environment, a culture of which employees feel comfortable in asking why, challenging, and then acting on that, being able to adapt? And I think there's things you can probably put in place, processes and that type of thing, communication mechanisms to help that, but you just have to make it a part of your culture. I think bottom line is, innovation doesn't have to be big. It can be small. It can be incremental. But are you changing? And that's the bottom line.
From an employee perspective, I think we talk quite a bit about setting clear expectations, because I think the general sense is if a person knows what's expected of them, you have a much higher likelihood of being successful with it. So we have an obligation to over-communicate to make sure people understand what's expected of them. That was probably one of the key takeaways from the employee excellence perspective, because you got to believe that everybody comes to work every day wanting to do the right things, and they have a much, much better chance if you're clear about what you want them to do.
The importance of holding employees accountable, making sure you make the right hiring choices, and just the consistency of following through with performance plans and making sure that the communication is there from the top down. I think those are all very important. Accountability is very important, and it starts with the employee knowing what the expectations are, and not just specifically, but globally. They need to understand your culture, your policies, your procedures. They need to understand their development plan, and on a day-to-day basis what you expect of them, because it's not fair to them and it's not fair to you if they don't understand what's expected. How can you hold them accountable? You know, besides the standard communication plans, the emails, those type of things, I think it's important for leaders to be involved with their employees, to get out and to actively communicate their plans, particularly in times of change. And I think we are in a time of change right now, and that type of reassurance needs to come from leadership to go out and communicate and to give the employees access so they can ask questions and receive the type of one-on-one feedback. I think it's very important. I love celebration and recognition, and that's one of the components I think is still missing from a formal perspective in a lot of places of employment today. What we try to do at Texas Gas Service is in the immediate work group, they'll recognize with a luncheon or maybe a breakfast before the workers go out, but I encourage the supervisors and managers to let me know of any success so that I can personally call and talk to the employee about what the success, and it doesn't have to be anything, you know, huge. It could be they completed a tough job that they hadn't been successful at before, and I will pick up the phone and call them because I want them to know we recognize you made some improvement, and good job, good day.
A couple of examples on how we celebrate company employee successes in our company is we are a municipally owned gas department in Clearwater, Florida, so we're kind of bound by city policies and procedures, but we do have employees of the year, employees of the month. We encourage them to tell on each other when somebody does something good that's above and beyond what their job expectations are. I don't believe an excellent employee is somebody who does what their job is. An excellent employee is somebody who consistently does what they're paid to do, and every now and then can go above and beyond and produce outside their comfort zone.
I think that goes with the hiring process. When you're looking for individuals, you clearly want to focus on what do you value in people, and make sure you structure your thought process around looking for people that share the same values. As far as existing people that work at an organization, I think again it's a culture. It's exhibiting those behaviors yourself, leading by example. If you do that, it also offers a great opportunity to level the playing field, regardless of whether you're having a conversation with somebody about something good they did or whether it's something offering constructive feedback. If you talk to it in terms of values, it's a whole lot easier to communicate, less threatening to the employee, and I think it gets a point across as to what's important to this organization. So I find that a good way to engage people in conversation.
Examples on what tips or benefits you could look at for people when hiring them is, I think people's true personalities come out. I believe I'm a good judge of character reader, but I've been known to be wrong. But I believe that there are people who can interview well and they can prove themselves and they can show you that they're willing to learn, they're willing to make mistakes, and they're willing to accept the fact that they've made mistakes. In my opinion, it goes back to empowerment. If I can empower an employee to make a decision, whether it's right or wrong, they're going to know Christy's going to back me. She knew I made a mistake, but she allowed me the opportunity and didn't micromanage me at that time. I think it's important for employees to be enabled to take initiative by delegating and empowering them. When employees know that they're going to be listened to and some of their great ideas could actually be implemented in a cost-saving process, it makes them feel like they're contributing to the bottom line, and overall they're getting attaboys from not only their peers but from management as well. I believe employee excellence is important because with the industry and society the way it is, people are frustrated. They're frustrated at their jobs. They're frustrated about the economy. And so to go to work and to participate and feel like your voice counts, it's extremely important nowadays. In my opinion, I do not believe you can train for passion and drive. I believe you have some people who are innately going to be driven to be successful. I believe there's some employees that come in bushy-eyed and bright-faced, but they hit some obstacles and some roadblocks. But in my heart, I don't believe you can teach that. I think people innately have that inner ability to want to be successful and want to do the best they can.